I'm looking at the positives of today. Obviously, clean sheet.
Yep.
Excellent. That wins you titles. Well, maybe not you specifically, but no, honestly, get back to it. The defence is very solid. Obviously,
Clean sheet,
Zubimendi,
yep.
2 goals, probably one of the best days of his career. Obviously, Eze gets an assist. Gyökeres gets a goal. Madueke plays really well.
Moreno
The
played
only
well.
negative probably is the Odegaard injury. We'll see what happens with that. But I'm looking at the bench as well and the starting 11. And in terms of depth, we look at Kepa. I mean, look, Max Dowman, he's 15, but we're already having him in these depth conversations. That's a big compliment.
Yeah.
Hincapié, Lewis Skelly, Martinelli, Wanyeri, who had to come on early. Rice, Trossard. I mean, Rice on the bench today. Trossard and White. Do Arsenal have maybe not the best squad, but do they have the best depth in their squad in the league? Do you understand the differences?
I think it's maybe not in all departments, but I think it's a pretty fair argument. I mean, definitely the back line, you've definitely got the best depth by far. By far.
Yeah.
Midfield, Liverpool probably put up a fight. They've got a few in there as well.
Do you reckon? I feel like Liverpool's the midfield is the one place, and I know there was a lot of discussion about centre backs, and I actually do get that, but I do wonder if Gravenberch goes out. Like, who steps into that role?
You know who steps in?
No, but like, are you going to trust Wataru Endo the whole time?
My hero.
No, look, I love Endo. I love Wataru Endo. But like,
come on.
is that the same? Like, that's I think the one place I disagree. Like, I think that, especially considering it looks like. Yeah, look, that I think could be interesting, right? Like, if or Tyler Morton, right? Like,
he's balling out in Lyon right now.
But I wonder if that's a recall in January job, right? Like, as in that's what I think he could be interested in, and where Liverpool might fall down. Because if you do have fullbacks, and I know that Szoboszlai has kind of come in and changed maybe the picture in terms of coming in at right back, but if you have Kerkez flying forward on the left every time, if you are going to try and play all 4 of the big guns in the front 4. Then you're asking a lot. You're asking a lot of Gravenberch and McAllister and Alexis in the middle. If Szoboszlai steps in there, okay, maybe. Yeah. But in terms of if one of those goes down injured, I do wonder what that Liverpool. Because look, we saw it first 2 games, right? The goals conceded in transition.
Yep.
And you're like, how?
Because Gravenberch wasn't playing basically.
No, I agree.
And that proves your point.
And I think Alexis stepping back in makes a difference as well in the Arsenal game, because then it calms it down and it doesn't feel as frantic. But I do wonder if one of those is not available, does it look a little bit more frantic? Whereas Arsenal, I think if you lose, we saw it today, right? Declan Rice not playing. Okay, cool.
We didn't seem to miss him.
Even a Norgard stepping in for a Zubimendi, I think is a pretty sensible solution. Like on a relatively low fee.
No, 100%.
To step into those areas. I think Arsenal probably have it covered in midfield. I think up front, Liverpool stream away.
Yeah, of course.
Hands down.
But I think everywhere else, maybe it's a question.
I also think that's where Florian Wirtz has created. Obviously, look, he's got bundles of talent. And he's going to hopefully, well, not hopefully for me, but hopefully for Liverpool score and get lots of assists. But in terms of the balance in that midfield, where you would normally have a 6 and 2 8s, you've got an out and out 10 now. So coverage there is going to be a lot less than it was. If you played a Szoboszlai there, he'd drop back and do a better job than the Florian Wirtz could do. So that's one thing. And Florian Wirtz so far hasn't been putting up the creative outlet that you might want him to.
Off ball, he's been brilliant. But
I think it goes back to what you're saying in terms of learning now, because we played with 3. I want to almost say 3/8 last year, because Gravenberch gets the ball as a 6 and takes it to the 10 position and then gives it to Mo Salah.
And if McAllister needs to cover, he'll
cover.
So
when Klopp, when Maka came in, he was the number 6 under Klopp, got a load of yellow cards, but Gravenberch is definitely that man now. So we had this kind of like energetic, dynamic, expansive triangle, and now we're learning with 3/8 to go from that into 2 6s and a 10.
And by Jedic,
it will take a month, 2 months. It will.
And by Jedic, you see him as a 6. I mean,
Bajcetic is a 6. I'm a massive fan of his. But
so
listen,
you're saying
Arsenal,
yes. Basically, you're saying Arsenal.
They have the best squad depth in the league.
It's obviously, if you look at Man City,
if Liverpool
as well,
got Gahey, would that have changed at all?
Nah.
No?
It's not enough, maybe.
Still not enough. No.
I mean, Mark Gahey,
Calafiori,
he's a quality player, but
listen to
makes a big
Calafiori,
difference.
Timber.
No, listen, in terms of defence, let's go for it. Goalkeepers.
It's Liverpool keepers.
Yeah, it's Liverpool for keepers.
Mamardishvili.
Defenders, Arsenal. Even though Liverpool's are Virgil van Dijk, Konate.
Even with Gahey in there, it's still Arsenal.
Okay, I'll give it to Arsenal because I mean, you've got 4 there who've probably never played a game together before. They keep a clean sheet, and then look at who you've got on the bench: Hincapié and Ben White and all these guys.
Bringing in Hincapié as a final depth, he's on the final day, just been like, cool, maybe we'll just fill one more gap. It's nuts behaviour.
It's crazy.
Arteta signing.
It's big. It's big.
Midfield, Arsenal.
Yeah, I think so.
But attack, Liverpool.
Yeah, that's what we say.
And
I
champions.
wonder what the people think as well.
Liverpool
Yeah,
as well.
very
probably.
plausible. If everyone stays fit,
Doesn't
yeah.
even matter, does it?
Always, he's always doing
Well,
that.
come back to the Saturday Football Show. Get them likes in, people.
Take your cap off, mate.
Come on, mate. Come on. No, but listen, I'm saying that Arsenal do have the best
I get
squad
it.
depth in the league. But in terms of the 11, I do think it's still Liverpool on like man for man.
Man for man.
Mascara came in. What a centre back he is. He's very, very good, and that's not just me saying as an
No, I
Arsenal
agree.
player. He's slotted in. He slotted in from the Anfield game, in my opinion.
You could tell he was good from.
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
playing with Howson at under 19.
Oh yeah,
Spain,
100%,
mate. He's
100%.
gonna
And when you come into a settled back line, it always helps.
No,
Which
of course,
Arsenal-
yeah. When
which
you got
Arsenal
experience
has.
like Timber,
Yeah.
you got
That's what I
Timber
mean.
next to you.
But if
Yeah.
you're
Do
just
you know
a
what I
little
mean?
bit under par to the rest of them, you stand out like a sore thumb. But he has just slotted
But
in.
he's been a leader for a while now, because obviously that Valencia centre back slot, he was there with
Yeah, he played in many games for them.
Yasirensky. Oh, I've just completely forgotten that one, but Yasirovsky.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
he was excellent. Two young players together, and they stood out. And that was such a young Valencia side, right? Like from back when Ruben Brau was in charge of them. They really came through that young generation. And I thought he was excellent there. And suddenly you walk in and you're like, okay, cool. You got better players around you. You make that step up. I think he's smart, and also like stylistically and from a profile fit.
Oh, yeah.
It made loads of sense. You're like, what does he like to do? He likes to step out. He's very much a kind of player in the Saliba mold, and look, he's
100%.
nowhere near that level yet. But
He could be.
I think that there
Could
is
be.
definitely the in terms of what we're seeing from him at youth level and in those first couple of years at Valencia, stepping into that role and potentially learning and growing into it.
Yeah,
I think he's a real talent.
And what better? Yeah, well said. And what better partner to play alongside Gabriel Magalhaes? I think he's been outstanding. He's been like my favourite centre back. Obviously, I love Saliba, but Gabriel's stood out, and it's not just the leadership qualities. It's him obviously pushing the ball forward into that midfield, obviously starting our attacks. Which is fantastic to see. So yeah, all round it was a good performance. Eze got his first assist, so that was good. He was knocking on the door a few times, kind of lost the ball. He was driving in that midfield in that little 10 area, but then he wasn't really interlinking that much with Gyökeres. But no, it was good. Gyökeres got his goal. It's not bad for a guy who apparently wears Timberlands, isn't it? That's what they
Wears
said.
jeans.
Yeah, wears Timberland and jeans and whatever. So look, you just silence the haters. And again, Arteta, I listened to him, and I'm a big fan of Arteta. I was upset with him from the last game, but I do believe in him, and that's why he said everyone was laughing at him when he brought in David Raya for Ramsdale. A lot of the players that he's brought in, everyone's questioned. Madueke, again, he's answering the critics. He had a fantastic international break. Probably one of England's best standout
I think
players.
Arsenal won the international break, really.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, Odegaard with assists, Declan Rice. Injury as
Serious
well.
or
Yeah,
not
that's the
serious?
only thing. That's the only thing is that Odegaard.
Blatch on the record.
Yeah.
Blotch.
Blotch. And obviously the biggest question now everyone's saying is, does Madueke start ahead of Saka when Saka comes back? Look, it's a good problem for Arteta to have. And we've got so many games coming up. We've got Champions League next week. You're going to need to rotate even your best players. But it's all about competition. If you want to win titles, you have to rotate your squad. And that's where Liverpool were always successful, Man City, etc. So yeah, no, all in all, I was happy. Really, really happy. Just apologies. I need all the apologies for all the people that spoke badly about Madueke not taking on, man. Yeah, remember that?
I didn't say that. You know what? It now starts to.
Does it
to
make sense now?
You know what it is? Saka and maybe the medical department there knows something that we don't in terms of Saka, because the hamstring injury can be a very reoccurring injury.
Yeah, of course.
And maybe they did look at Bukayo Saka and think, you know what, he could need a lot more rest, because you guys at some point were playing Saka week in, week out, 90 minutes every single week. So
that's what we did to Owen with his hamstring.
what, after he came back from it or beforehand?
Well, he played like 150 games by the time he was 18.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
Crazy.
His Leeds away, 99, just
Crazy.
totally tore it and had to almost,
I feel like I remember that. He was running in behind, wasn't he?
Against Leeds.
Always used to. Yeah.
In terms of the Arsenal goal, the Eze to Gyökeres goal.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really interesting, because that's a goal that Arsenal haven't scored in a while, right? Like they're getting
That's
in
a Man
behind.
City goal.
But that's like what you bring in a Gyökeres to do, right?
Yeah.
That's the run you want him to make. That's
100%.
the players over the top bit that you're
100%.
supposed to be doing, and that I think is probably a good sign, and maybe the best sign from the game. Like, this is a Nottingham Forest, obviously, in a bit of turmoil given the fact that they switched managers in the week. They probably were a little bit stuck between stations in terms of styles.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting that they weren't It wasn't gung-ho. It wasn't really highline. The moment that they stepped up, Arsenal scored that goal. I think that's probably the best thing I could see if you were an Arsenal fan and be like, wow, we take that.